So I'm standing here next to the library with a little connection overnight because it's 1 a.m. They have not put a curfew on this, so I think it's kind of neat that they don't. And it's something to play with. I've, Aaron Queen. Yep. Hello. Are you a traveler too? I'm just, up. I don't know exactly why I'm up right now, but I'm definitely awake. I have my suspicions on why. First, it could be just a natural wakefulness, and I just need to give it a couple hours or something. Amy Gonzalez. Uh, Another reason I could be awake is because of the trains. The train tracks go right through the center of this town. And if you look on the map, you could see houses right next to the train tracks. And the trains just blare their horns. At night, they seem to increase their activity too. I don't know how people can live along train tracks, especially near intersections. That's it. Nuclear energy is clean energy. Whoops. And then, I seem to be... Okay, I got this. I can fix this. Just, oh, you gotta hit that twice. That's right. Alright. And then, policeman pulled up to my car. Didn't shine his light, but he certainly pulled up next to my car because it's probably unusual to see people parked in the parking lot next to this library. So I took a chance. I mean, they didn't stop to talk or anything, and they didn't stare at my car for very long. But they certainly rolled on close to it slowly. Didn't even give me enough time to turn on a camera. And then that woke me up. I mean, when that happens, that woke me up. Gets the heart going a little bit because I'm like, oh God, what do I have to deal with here? But there's nothing. But since I've been up, I've noticed the cop has been rolling by quite a bit. I am downtown, and I wonder. A second police car came rolling by about 15 minutes after, but they were more concerned about this other car. That car pulled in about 5 minutes after the first incident, and I didn't really notice anybody inside that car now. I think maybe somebody else pulled in and they left together, but now I got a cover, I guess, because that car's in the parking lot with me. So the second police car, and I think it's probably another patrol, checked them out a little bit closer and took off too, just checking out in the same way, sort of like minding their own, or just having a minimal intrusion. I mean, my windows are down, so I could hear things fairly closely. But those trains were pretty loud, and they seem to have slowed down their activity. But just like 20 minutes ago, there was like 5 trains back and forth, back to back. Some trains have louder horns than others, and the loudest ones are really hard on the ears. There should be more of a lower standard on those horns, especially when they go through towns like this. They should have a standard on how loud the horn can be, and by distance to local homes. That's such a noise that it's going to disrupt people's sleep. It's not. It's less. Almost not a. I mean, it's an alert, but you got to weigh the factors on how important it is to have such a noise in comparison to being a disturbance. It's more of a disturbance than it is a safety feature. So yeah, I've been in a few towns where the trains have been very loud. So I think it was a video that I was watching that talked where the cop said, "We're not the military," because maybe a type of sovereign citizen said something about military law, martial law, or something, and the cop said that we're not the military. And it's like, at what point? I mean, what point do you become? Can you really clearly indicate that you are the military? What would be a very clear evidence that you are military? Even, I guess you could almost say that even the military is not exactly fully a military, because because the military has other functions besides running into a battlefield and shooting at the enemy. There's a lot that goes on in the military besides total military things during the wartime. I mean, we could call the militaries Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines militaries, but in the day-to-day operations, it isn't always exactly military-like. They're doing paperwork. They got administration and other aspects, political things. Politics is a bit of a problem in the military, dealing with that. And yeah, the military has their anniversaries and functions, things that have a military theme, but not exactly military. I felt like when I was in the Air Force, it was just a job. I was like a cop in the Air Force, and I was just like, it was, I mean, people lived on the base on Okinawa, Japan, Kadena Air Force Base. So it was a community, fenced, a closed community, fenced in with gates, protected. And I just served as one aspect of the job, just patrol around and look for anything that looks suspicious. There's a cop. Yep, they're back and forth around here. Who knows if he'll spot me or whatever. This is a one-way road, so they're not going to come from this way to spot me. They'd have to actually turn from that road, not speed by like he did. But I mean, the military, there's a gray area where the military isn't quite operating full on like a military 100%, and the police they can also have that day-to-day operation where they're not full on military. They don't want to claim to be the military, but they're militarized. The military is militarized. The police are militarized. There's that gray area where you could compare and contrast very similar conduct and in preparation and administration. I mean, they they have similar trainings. When I was in the Air Force, I I, I botched it, but I almost was able to do some SWAT training, but I kind of made some mistakes and was dropped from the program. I was accepted into this SWAT-like program for the Air Force, but then I was dropped. I make mistakes, but there's that option. There was option to train with the local SWAT teams, the local city SWAT teams in the military. There's that cross training that was available. That's going on today. That they don't. That they want to. I mean, for political reasons, they don't want to make it very clear to the public that sometimes the military and city or whatever police, state police, whatever, are training together. I don't think that that would be a good political revelation that happens. Maybe, I don't know. It depends what's going on exactly. I get the impression, dude. Would the audience here get the impression that if the military trains with the local police, that it might look bad? I'm not quite sure. Oh, I see Pig Trader's up, huh? That's a library next to Travis. Yep. Oh, you could see the name. So, SWATs. I was just watching a video about a swatter who actually got somebody killed, an innocent guy killed. That was crazy. Is in one of the crime drama shows on YouTube, not Coffee House Crime, not the other ones. But I was taken aback that this guy was bouncing around libraries in Los Angeles, California in 2017, about the time I was bouncing around libraries. He was bouncing around libraries. They had to have gathered that evidence. Oh, well, maybe a little bit from him. Maybe the libraries are getting, well, the libraries never asked for my name. Maybe they were able to collect some records. So here's a car that's coming. And at this hour, there's a good chance that it's a cop. But they can't really turn down this road, so I don't think that's going to happen. But I was a little surprised that they oh, yeah, that was a cop. He was taking his sweet time rolling through that intersection. I don't see any curfews or anything. And it's going to be unusual to have somebody out at this hour, so whatever. I'm on a sidewalk. Whatever. Some states have changed the law giving immunity for crime. Oh yeah, that's gonna come down to dispatch trying to qualify the caller a little bit better, because we're actually able to listen to some of the calls that swatter made. He's like, I'm gonna shoot my family. I planted a bomb. Oh yeah, he doesn't turn down. I was pretty sure that cop was gonna turn down this road. He moved a little slower down the road. But anyway, I thought it was going back to the title of this. Going back to the title of this video, the what report crime, don't make false reports. Yeah, I thought it was interesting how cops really well, they can say that they're not the military, but we could argue that they're at least militarized. There's a gray area between the actual military and police. There's similarities, there's differences. And it's a concern when during peacetime how evolution happens. There's fear that mounts over during peacetime. Peacetime isn't that peaceful. You got fears that develop, and as the peacetime progresses over the years, people wonder when the next war is going to happen, and prepare and try to predict, looking at signs and conditions. How does the war develop? And it's hard to say. Wars have started over some pretty silly things, but it's protesting. Protesting is a large part of it. A lot of times, protesting is a bit of a beginning stage of a war, and police are involved. I mean, yeah, police, or maybe not have been called police back before they were, before they were formed. Yeah, yeah, I'm just kind of pacing back and forth in this one spot. I don't know how how great the Wi-Fi connection is. It reached my car, but it was breaking up, and my car was a good distance away. But yeah, as you can see, it's a quiet. Nobody's driven down this road at all. At this hour, it's pretty quiet. It's pretty chilly. These locals aren't used to 30-degree. There's that cop again. 30-degree weather. He doesn't turn down this way. This is super. Well, people walk around in t-shirts. So when you do that, this is going to be really cold weather if you don't dress well enough. And now the wind is picking up. I don't know how that's going to show. Yeah, there's a little bit of a blending in with there's a little bit of a gray area between police and military. There's I've seen military style vehicles in police parking lots, and they're not used a whole lot. They're not a part of a day-to-day operation, but they're at least a lot of them. Well, some of them. There's not I definitely don't see a military style like tech or a SWAT vehicle, armored vehicle in the police parking lot. I don't always see like armored vehicles. When I do, they're intentionally on display, or maybe it's just they can't park them in any garage because they're too tall. They're too big for the parking garage, and then they're on display. And then if I walk up to the armored vehicle, then cops will become concerned about me getting close to take a closer look at those armored vehicles in their parking lots. I've walked up to some that a cop saw me walk up and was just sitting from a distance watching me while I looked at their armored vehicle on this, or not on display, but just sitting in their parking lots. They'll become concerned about the close observation of their vehicles. And that's what the military is concerned about too. Anybody who wants to get a close inspection of their vehicles, they try to fence off their military vehicles. They'll watch the security closer. Or two hands on their guns. Because of okay, so I see Shadow Wolf's got a story there. When the paperwork doesn't check out, the cops get a little, their alert, their security alert goes up a notch. There's triggers there to watch out for, and it's out of your hands. You don't have much control over the communications that happen between computers. You can only do so much within your own power. And there's this weird, I don't know, you can see two white boxes. There's a third box that doesn't really show up. They got this corner covered with some kind of technology gear. I assume it's probably for Wi-Fi. They don't look like cameras. I hear a vehicle. Seems like it's kind of slow moving. Oh no, this vehicle is starting up. Okay, well. Maybe it's no big. Oh, something's passing. No, not a cop. Somebody with loud music. Another. Yeah, this is a smaller town. Not that active. It's got some unique features. I like that it's so laid back. I have to admit, I'm a little scared of. I was thinking about stopping in Memphis, but the crime looks too bad. I've seen 3 incidents that have really scared me about Memphis that happened. The 3 incidents happened within the past couple of weeks. So there was one of the Walmarts got ransacked by like 20 kids. They broke in through the automotive center section, and then were leaving with TVs and electronics. Just a big group of kids that I think I saw on Twitter. And then there was a news story about a gas station that had a shootout between a cop and somebody else, and the cop killed the other shooter, and the cop was injured himself. Just having a gunfight in a gas station parking lot. And then there was a third that had. Oh, yeah, I'm good. Just Just hanging out. I mean, the Wi-Fi. What's that? Yeah, just using the Wi-Fi, just on the sidewalk. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah. So he was thinking about me. Simple as that. See, it's been pretty laid back. The librarians are looking a lot tougher on rules and whatnot compared to the police. They're not stopping to knock on my car door. Uh, they're not grilling me for my ID. It's just, hey man, you good? All right, and continues on. There he goes. That's probably him. I think there's more than one patrol tonight. Just a regular weekday night. When, yeah, that's. I mean, in Pocahontas, the librarians were alerted in some way. All right, between Doniphan, Missouri, and Pocahontas, Arkansas, when the Doniphan, Missouri incident with the library director, she was a director. She wasn't just even a regular librarian or a visitor. She was a director in charge of everything at that library. Full control. And she files a privacy claim. I didn't see that privacy claim until I got to Pocahontas. But let me just say, a few days passed since I posted that Doniphan librarian video, because I stayed a couple days in Doniphan. I liked it. It was relaxing, nice quiet town. I could just hang out during the day and find a good spot to sleep at night without being bothered. So I stayed a few days in Doniphan. A few days passed by before I went to Pocahontas, and then I got to Pocahontas, and in those few days it was possible that the trolls were alerting surrounding libraries. But it didn't seem to matter, because the librarian's personality came out regardless of whether they were alerted or not. It doesn't matter if they have a certain rule in place warning them that some guy who's pushing back on the rule doesn't seem to matter much. It just seems to have been another question for them. Are you affiliated with any particular group that's whatever giving librarians a hard time? That was just that warning just kind of brought out that question. That was it. They were still operating under the same guidelines. They didn't change their guidelines because of any warning, if a warning occurred. Oh, Bill Clinton lived in Pocahontas. That's a good joke. Police is saying they're keeping an eye on you without saying. Yeah. I I was a little impressed. The cop just turns in this way. I mean, it's hard to listen as cops make a lot make a cops make a moderate amount of noise. Okay, the cops make a low amount of noise. They have noise. The cops produce noise pollution and light pollution, so that they really aren't stealth. and it's not easy for them to just go on foot patrol. It's rare. In fact, I can't say. There's only one time I've actually one clear time in a small town where a cop was on foot patrol, and that was in Seaside, Oregon. That was just a sneak up on me as I was sitting at the library at night using the Wi-Fi. Seaside, Oregon is very very strict on homeless people. But he parked on the other side of the library and just kind of walked over, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I can go on foot patrol," something like that. I don't think I even recorded that interaction. He snuck up on me pretty good. But cops really can't be stealth. They have to keep their cars running in case there's a real emergency. You know, that starting up the car, starting up the car takes seconds, and precious seconds that can make a difference between life or death. So they always have to be ahead of the race. They have to be ready at all times for the race to get to the emergency, and that's why they leave their cars running in their parking lots. They have sometimes two cars just running unattended in their parking lot, just so they just jump in and go. And they're doing that all across the country, keeping their cars running and not going on foot patrols, because they gotta stay pretty close to their cars for emergencies. The car is a very valuable resource for the cops. Are nothing without their cars. I mean, you got bicycle patrol, but they're not expected to be first on scene for anything. They're for large crowds in a lot of ways. Bigger cities, larger crowds. I wanted to be bicycle patrol in the military. That was an option on Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. But they choose who they want somehow. What? Females are for the streets? So yeah, cops don't have a great way to be stealth. They make their cars make a little bit of noise. Their headlights make a little bit of light. All I gotta do at night is look around my car a little bit. I don't even need to look outside my car, and I look at how the light shines in my car. I get familiar with the street lights and how the shadows are displayed, how the light's displayed inside my car. I have a little light when I'm laying down in there. I have a little light that I get familiar with for that night. Every night is practically different depending on where I'm parking. Some lights are brighter than others. But I get familiar with that, and then I get familiar with how when cars pass by, how the light moves through my car and how bright it gets. See, the brightness is the big deal. Watching how bright the light gets inside my car. If it's a car approaching me, then it gets especially bright. And I watch it. I try to follow the pattern, and I learn that it's a extremely, almost blinding light that cops will bring into my car, and I'll really know that I'm being checked out. Almost a blinding light. But sometimes, I mean, I get nervous even seeing just faded light, just a little light. But it's a matter of learning the light patterns for the night, and then listening for noise. Yeah, there's different lights out there. I like to, yeah, this street light is actually out. So when the cop was checking me out, he could maybe have taken note that the street light is out, and maybe he would report that issue to the city. Yeah, you can see I'm focusing the camera right on the street lights. So he would have had a better look at me with some extra light. He didn't even shine a flashlight on me. This is little dark conditions, and the city planned out the street lights. But I mean, this is a smaller town. Things break and stay broken sometimes. So they just deal with. They have to lower their standards a little bit based on their size and budget. Into a short distance fleeing. Oh, he was being pulled over and he drove a little extra further than the cops like. Yeah, I get into a bit of a habit. If I have a cop even following me, I'll look for somewhere to pull over, let them pass and get away. But yeah, I take the extreme approach of pulling over when I just simply have a cop casually driving behind me. And then some people, if they don't care, even after the cops turn their lights on, they'll still drive a few miles to find a safe spot to park. I'm taking quite the extreme opposite of that. And I rarely get pulled over, but if you watch my driving channel, I've gotten a lot of moments where if there was a cop there when I turn down the wrong road or something, or roll through a stoplight, if there was a cop there, I certainly would have gotten pulled over. But I've been getting lucky, but my luck will run out eventually. There's likely to be some point coming up where I'm gonna have a video of me actually getting. Well, no, I did get pulled over, but in Minnesota, but that wasn't for a traffic infraction. That was based on a complaint, and the cop chased me down. Yeah, so yeah, here's a train. It's been a while. They were really busy at midnight, and now it was quiet for a while. Those trains will wake me up. They got some trains. This is a cargo part of a cargo path, cargo trail. Yeah, I've been followed by cops through Cameron. One time through Cameron, Wisconsin, the cop followed me out of town, through town, and to the outskirts. And I think it was a female cop. She was tailgating me, but this was back in the late '90s, so long ago. And it was based on me not like stopping at a crosswalk like this. Somebody wanted to cross, and I felt like they just got to the crosswalk, and I was about to pass, so I just was like, whatever. I'll just continue on. I'm not gonna just stop. And the cop was right behind me and saw that, and so they decided to tailgate me through Cameron. No. Did I say Chautauqua? Through Chautauqua, Wisconsin, a small town of maybe 2,000 people, through the town to the outskirts, practically tailgating me the whole time, looking for anything, any kind of swerve. I think I was on high alert and just paying very close attention to my driving, and all I was doing was driving through the town. But somebody had to cross on the crosswalk on kind of a busy road, and I didn't immediately stop for them, so the cop wanted to watch me close for that. So Shadow is your son. Did your son record those incidences? Because that would be helpful. Or I guess you could get the cop's body cam. Yeah, listening to police dispatches. I could be listening to my police scanner. I haven't in a while. There's some people who have better habits at listening to police scanners than me. I find them a little stressful and distracting. But there's moments where I'm curious about what's going on the police radio. Up through Missouri and Iowa, some of them police stations have gone fully encrypted, so you don't hear anything. That's a little frustrating and troubling. And I've heard that there's parts of major cities that have gone fully encrypted, and like in Twin Cities, there's Egan or Elgin or something, and if you listen to the police scanner in the Twin Cities, it's so busy that there's so much activity with the other radios that I didn't even notice. I was like, wow, Minnesota's very active, even with a few cities that have gone fully encrypted. A few boroughs or a few districts in Twin Cities have gone fully encrypted. They're still very busy, even with those shut down radios. So it'd be even more busy if those other ones were not encrypted. Yeah, scanners are always more interesting in bigger cities. Sometimes it may not even be an encryption thing for some small towns. They're just not that busy and it's quiet. If the roads are quiet, the scanner's going to be quiet. You just hear radio checks periodically. Yeah, so, and yeah, of course, if a police station doesn't want to look like it's militarized, they wouldn't encrypt. And encryption is just another step towards militarization. So, I mean, clearly, even when I was in the Air Force, there was an encrypted radio. Encryption was invented long ago, used definitely in my time. Alright, so there's another train approaching. And that horn is something. There's no curfew, there's no noise ordinance. You could be getting, you could have I don't know, this would be a weird case. Imagine you listen to your radio super loud, and the cop hears it and wants to give you a hard time about it, and have this train with their loud horn rolling by, and you get a ticket and the train gets nothing. Cops can't pull over trains for the loud noise, and that's unfortunate. Trains should be held to a high standard. If there's any kind of Jake brakes on semi trucks, those loud Jake brakes. If there's a noise ordinance about Jake brakes, then there should be a noise ordinance. Like this one is really especially loud. I don't think they have really any standard for the trains on those horns, and they're disrupting sleep. What did you doing with time at night? It's like, you are walking the street of Ghana. No. What? Oh, okay. No documentation. Yeah, apparently in this town the Beatles visited, so it's kind of has a popularity. Got a little theme for the Beatles. This is called Beatles Wi-Fi. So is it? Oh, it's the truck. Okay. Yeah, this train is. This is one that's. There's like a couple different tracks, and there's rail fans who love this stuff. Oh my God, maybe I could see it a little bit. It passes not far from my car. Oh yeah, it's right there. That's the train. That's it right there. In fact, I get out of the wind over here. Okay, and that truck decided to move on. Yeah, this intersection right here, and is right here, and I'm trying to sleep not far from it. I made a mistake. I make those mistakes. It's a little disrupting. Made a mistake trying to sleep next to the train tracks. But sometimes, some train tracks don't have any activity. I find out the hard way that this one is especially active, especially at night. Yeah, I'm protesting. God bless the veterans. Just like John Gray or Jeff Gray, honor your oath investigations. Without a sign, I'll be like the Chinese with a blank sign. I'll just carry a blank piece of paper and I just tell people, God bless me, the veteran. Yeah, okay, I guess I was standing in the windy area a little too much. But now I'm dealing with a train noise. It's getting chilly, and It's gonna be tonight is one of the warmer nights for the next few days at least. I think I want to head south for more warmth again. Find out how the cities are. Yeah, there's people. I mean, they know where I was, and on my Twitter, the trolls have gotten especially uh, let's see, agitated. I've been dealing with agitated trolls the past few days, and they were completely ignoring me, but then now suddenly a whole explosion of anger and resentment or whatever, agitation has come out on Twitter. And there's been some events that have occurred that seem to have rallied these trolls. There's a couple extra trolls on my Twitter now that have been contributing to insulting me and all of that. And it seems like they've been rallying behind my library incidents and I want to call him Chili, but he's Delete Laws apparently has threatened Delete Laws has threatened a judge by saying that he's gonna fight back in some way. And now today I learned that David Warden, News Now Houston, has been convicted of raping his daughter, and he's getting 20 years. But he could still appeal that, so I guess he's still got to get sentenced. He was found guilty today, so now he'll get a couple of months, unlike in Louisiana where the city judge, like in my case, the city judge gave me 3 seconds between the conviction and sentencing, where there's other criminals who get a little bit more time than 3 seconds. And so his sentencing will be coming up, I guess, but it's up to 20 years. Some people are saying that he was already sentenced to 20 years with no parole. David Warden. So, but he could still appeal, and so get that appeal bailed out on appeal, right? In Texas, however that works. Get an appeal bond and then be on the streets again waiting for, or maybe he'll be stuck in jail depending on the severity of the crime. Yeah, I mean, I was allowed to get out on the misdemeanor for my appeal bond, but maybe some felonies you just don't get out. If you murdered somebody, you can't just appeal and get an appeal bond. The judge decides on the bond, which I asked for an own recognizance bond, an OR bond. My lawyer asked for me and made arguments in favor of it, and then the prosecutor made arguments in favor of the maximum bond, which the judge was already leaning to anyway. But the prosecutor, Benjamin, made arguments that GoFundMe was income, and I suddenly made a lot of money in income that all went to my lawyer. And well, the judge didn't even need that to be convinced to give me the maximum bond amount to get out of jail. He was already convinced beforehand. Those are just arguments to rationalize what they already decided ahead of time. Is so yeah, the recent activity that seems to be really rallying these trolls is is spilling into their enthusiasm to insult me and belittle me on Twitter right now. But before the Donovan Library and incidents, my Twitter was pretty much quiet for a few weeks at least. There was the occasional troll comment, but now it's like they're active hour by hour. And we'll find out. We'll see what YouTube, how YouTube decides the Donovan Librarian video. I removed the name of Donovan from the description and the title. Troll comment. What's an example of a troll comment? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What are they? Oh, something about getting arrested for child porn. Something like that. And it's my habit to just say, contact the Rice Lake Police Department in Wisconsin and ask them. They got all the details, all the juicy details that that you want to know. They have a script for that now. It's a report, but they likely have a script because I know that police station has been called multiple times by individuals interested in that case. And I asked David Warden, of course. There's a guy on Twitter who's calling himself David Warden, and as soon as he got the information, he had to Twitter it to me. David Warden, the News Now Houston, has been convicted, and he sent a picture from David Warden post that's David Warden took a picture of himself in a suit. It was like he was in between court and in break room or something, and put the message that the jury was hung. They didn't have so he thinks that it might result in a mistrial. So that was the last message straight from David Warden. And I tried to look up on Facebook. Where's News Now Houston David Warden posting? I haven't really been following him that closely, so I don't know where he's posting. I looked on Facebook, but maybe it was a Twitter. Maybe it was a Facebook. That's about the only two social media options that are popular. I know he's not going to Snapchat. He's an older guy. But the David Warden troll made sure to let me know, and I asked him if I'm next. Am I gonna be next? Why is he even telling me? But I had no idea. I mean, with David Warden and his trial, it happened. It's done. The jury has made their decision. He had a jury trial. But it was like, it was going on for years and years and being delayed multiple times. I just wasn't paying close attention because it was being delayed so much, and it was it was just kind of something that trolls would complain about, but I didn't really know what to think. But apparently a jury was convinced enough to vote him guilty that he did commit these alleged crimes, enough to put him in jail for 20 years. Yeah, I looked on News Now Houston on Facebook, and I mean, That's totally dedicated to like recording cops, I think. Not about his trial. He's got some kind of separate account for his trial. So there's a whole issue going on there, and trolls are following it, and report and no, I think some YouTube videos have been made about David Warden's conviction. You could see. I think one was uploaded today. I mean, it happened or yesterday. It happened just yesterday, and I was looking a little bit on it. I wanted to download that video, watch a little bit more. I mean, the news is enough, but I was looking on there's a chat. It was like a live stream, and somebody said, release the doves." Some people are really celebrating. I mean, these troll channels that inspire other trolls, they get all together around their campfires and discuss their troll topics, celebrating David Warden's conviction. So you see a lot of support. There's a lot of love, shared between each other in their hatred against certain people. They're not angry at the cameras. They're angry at the people behind the cameras. Serve his prison time. So what else? He was convicted of rape. Oh, he was already convicted? Well, something happened yesterday that secured a greater punishment. And what, is he in jail now? Was he taken into custody? I'd have to research more on that and see. But then there's also, like several things that have rallied my trolls so that they feel empowered to give me a harder time, trying to break me. They're trying to break my sanity by using multiple accounts. I mean, I'm pretty sure that some of them trolls, the same trolls, using multiple accounts, but I believe that there's also multiple people. Just go to a troll channel and you'll see all kinds of people hating on First Amendment auditors and sovereign citizens. I mean, it may seem that they have the same similar message when they use, in some cases, across several different accounts. It almost seems like they talk in the same way. But there are multiple people out there that really hate the hate exposure, hate resistance to demands. Follow the rules, follow the law, and if you don't like it, then get out of here, or whatever. There's all kinds of that. There's opposite. Yeah, it's still a little windy this way. There's opposite personalities. So, yeah, he was working for the cops. Yeah, David Warden. So what's this mean? What's this conviction? Is a life-changing event for him, and now he's got to look. He can't operate business as usual, I don't think. Jury of his peers have convicted him, and now they have approved of his incarceration by finding him guilty. There's still the appeals court where it only goes to higher court judges to decide if the legal process was done properly. Okay, maybe check out James Freeman's channel about News Now Houston. I'm sure some more videos will be coming out, and I find it always amazing how, like, when a celebrity dies. Let's see. There's Well, just as an example, I don't really have a name. When a celebrity dies, I look up their name on YouTube, and all of a sudden, within hours of the news, when I see the news of a celebrity dying, there's like 20 videos from different accounts talking about the death of the celebrity. Within hours, just different people make multiple videos of the celebrity. And like, say, Eric the Trainer, okay, the famous Eric the Trainer who's trained celebrities. He died, like, I don't know, November at 53. And I mean, I'm looking at, I'm almost 47. I'm like, wow, I'm at death's door myself, I guess. All these people dying about my age. So I'm curious. I'm putting more. Well, I mean, with the internet, it's easier to look up that stuff. But I'm looking at this. I want to learn a little bit about who this person is, who I didn't know. I had no idea who Eric the Trainer was. And within hours, within days, there's tons of video for this person with the like R.I.P. and just commemorating, or just announcing his death. And it's like, all I want to look at are old videos of him. So I have to scroll down like 30 videos to see old videos from like 2 years ago or multiple months ago, not in the past couple of days. I try to look over the videos that were made the couple of days ago after a famous person dies, and try to look at their old videos to see what their last video was. Just out of curiosity, like, oh yeah, the guy that died on Ellen DeGeneres, the rapper DJ for Ellen DeGeneres, he dies at 40. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. Let me look this guy up, and it's just within hours, there's all kinds of people reporting his death. So it's like, with David Warden, I'm sure there's tons of videos that are going to come out about him, because he's kind of a mini celebrity in the First Amendment audit world. So there's going to be a lot of new videos, I'm sure, and there already are some. I'd have to look again. I'm sure more are coming up as I speak. Some people check on, yeah. I don't post a whole lot on this channel. Usually just things that come up. I have more. My other channels are pretty much dead, but I'll post to them anyway. Just because I don't know. It's just it's just training, video, talking, making videos, editing videos. It's all training for me. It's not really getting a lot of views, but I'm playing with that software package, DaVinci Resolve, trying different things, learning about it. It's something to pass the time, something that at least they pay for the gas, at least. Yes, Ellen DeGeneres' DJ died, and apparently it was suicide. So he was upset enough to commit suicide. And then like that reporter in during the World Cup of soccer, the reporter who died at age 47, or no, age 48. And I thought, I've been reading a lot about people dying around my age range, like Rich Piana, dead at 46. And there, a lot of them are just, it wasn't a murder. They're really dying of natural causes in their late 40s. So it's something that I'm very aware of. I mean, I just, whatever, it's just, I pay attention to it, and I use it as a bit of as a scare tactic for myself, just trying to be aware of like the reporter in the soccer world, the World Cup of soccer. He had some kind of like a sliding aorta. His aorta was sliding out of place further and further until it just burst. And there's no murder, there's no cover up. He died of natural causes from a sliding aorta. And I think that's a physical thing. That's like bad habits in some way. I want to think to myself that's probably from sitting too much and maybe not moving enough. Yeah, you didn't look overweight, so there's freak accidents that catch up with you. There's a flat Earth somewhere. There's flat Earths. Yeah, the moon looks like let's see, I'm pointing at the moon right now. The moon looks like it's a saucer, a bowl. It's in the bowl shape. So the moon is a bowl. The Earth is flat, the moon is a bowl. The sun is too bright to look at. Yeah, this cop really hasn't been too active lately now. I suppose I should be stopping this. Try to lay down and see if I can fall asleep. Oh, the moon is one of Elon Musk's new technological advances. It wasn't always there before Elon Musk. All right, I think I'm gonna stop this. It's late at night and I need to try to get back to sleep. So, all right, thanks for visiting.